Okay, man, I just want to have a very, very brief conversation with you about this and really kicking off your challenge and everything else. So let me actually move you to this one screen that I've got over here, and so you
Okay.
can see me. So I'm looking directly into you. So, dude, number one, welcome. I got a lot of feedback and everything from your interview call and everything of where you want to go and everything. But I just want to ask you, a few questions because obviously we're dead serious about this, and um, I want to make sure and I want to hear where you want to go. Okay, I want to hear exactly where you want to go. So, what is the major problem that you're having into your business right now that's really made you to jump all in on this 90-day challenge? What's your number one problem?
And one problem, I think it's a handful of problems to be honest. I've become a little jaded because I've been burned from contractors doing rehabs in the past. I have some experience in my belt. I mean, I've been a licensed realtor for the past 12 years. I worked with a full-time investor that was flipping 50 houses a year in 2000, between 2008 and 2010. Then I went more on the retail side of the business. Started doing my own flips in 2012. I did my first deal. I've done a handful of wholesales since then. I've done about 7 rehabs in total. I've luckily I've bought right where I didn't really lose my ass, but I've had contractors still deposits for me. I've yet to hit a timeline. I've yet to hit a budget. So the rehab just kind of I've been just jaded. So I'm trying to figure out the right process to do it correctly. More recently, now that we're in this kind of market, that we're in this environment, it's very difficult to find deals that I haven't even aggressively even been looking anymore. Almost it's like I kind of given up, especially through most of my deals I found through the MLS. And MLS is like it's like almost impossible. It's a lot of competition. You have newbie investors that are coming in overbidding, and there's like no more profit margin. Like contractors are going to make more money than me on these some of these deals. But I've kind of almost like given up a little bit. I know the secret sauce is in the off-market marketing and trying to find motivated sellers directly, both as a realtor because I can put my realtor hat on if they want more of a retail price, or if the house is in really good shape, I can list the property for them. But more importantly, obviously, I can make more money as an investor than I can in getting a real estate commission. That I'd rather buy a house if I can get a good enough deal um, to go that route. So again, it's just trying to reestablish the best way to get in front of those motivated sellers to do more deals. In the past, I've only been doing maybe one, maybe 2 deals a year. I would love to get that and do a more consistent flow. I never really wanted to be a full-time realtor. I just kind of fell into it because I was trying to do the investing route. But ultimately, I want to be a full-time investor, and the realtor stuff is great on the side. Right now, it's kind of my main source of income. My wife just lost her job on Friday, so this is
Wow.
the day that we found out about doing this program. We have our first baby due in July, so I feel like there's some new pressure on me to be the head of household, being the man in the family, provide for my family, and I know we'll be okay, but I want to do better than just okay. That I want to do more than survive. I want to thrive. So I think the point of this is I want to grow this thing to where I've always wanted to be. I've always wanted to be a real estate investor since I was my first read Rich Dad Poor Dad in high school. I studied finance at Miami. Right out of college, I got my real estate license. I worked for a company called RealNet, which you may have heard of. They don't no longer exist, but they're a wholesale company. So I learned the investment side of the business doing that and then working with that one investor. And then I kind of fell off the tracks there in 2008, 2009. Got a corporate job, which I hate. I'm not a 9 to 5 type of person. But now that my wife is going to be losing her job, she's getting a little bit of severance, which is good for the next 6 months. But the new baby on the way, it's time to really figure this thing out and make it take off.
It's time to build
So,
a business. So a
right.
couple of things about this is number one is you're dead right. I tell everybody that the MLS stands for my listings suck right now for like a real estate investor. I mean, it's just so difficult. It's so difficult to find those type of deals on market. Contractors, burning you or whatnot. We're gonna have to fix that problem. We're gonna have to fix the issue of not being able to find deals because obviously if you can't find the deals, you can't even fund the deal, and if you can't fund the deal, you'll never even get to that contracting stage. So we've got to really really ramp that side of it up and find those deals for sure. Baby on the way, which is totally awesome. So you've got a little bit more pressure to provide for a family. You're not just providing for you and your wife anymore. You're providing for your kids. Got it. Makes sense. Um, not being able to find deals, and let's talk about not being able to find the deals and the contractors, hosing you and taking your money and this and that. What is that frustration? What does it feel like when you've tried to solve that issue?
Well, lately it seems like, man, I'm just kind of like, man, I need this market turn to be shitty again because then I can find deals again. But that's not the right attitude to have. Contractors, I've done the cheap route. That's kind of when I learned from the guy that was flipping 50 houses a year. He had his own crew. Like he had guys that he made his money in Vegas, then moved to Cincinnati in 2005. He brought a lot of his guys with him. He had loyalty with those guys. There were $10, $12 an hour, Mexican guys that could do it all. So you kind of lucked out on that front. I've tried to go that route, going the cheap guy route, but you get what you pay for. Yep. And I was dealing with guys that didn't show up. I was dealing with guys on drugs. I had another guy trying to replace other guys and still trying to keep it cheap because I was like, man, I spent some money over here. Not gonna Yeah, it was bad. They didn't have cars. One guy it's my own fault and I learned the hard way. I gave him a $10,000 deposit and I never got that money back. He ended up dying a year later, karma, I guess you can call it, but he was involved with drugs and it's probably where that money went. I have paid for general contractors where you get a little bit better service, but you're paying for it. So it's just like I've been on both spectrums, like going the cheap route, it not really working out, and going, I'll say the quality isn't that much better with going a general contractor route. It just, I feel like I'm paying for it, but just like, man, at least guys were showing up, but it was just like, man, why is it still taking forever? This budget's been out of whack. So out of 7 rehabs I've done, I've yet to hit a budget. I've yet to hit a timeline. So it'd be nice to get some contractors that I can trust and that can get the job done at the price that's fair, so that I can move on to the next project. And that's always the ultimate goal, is to, get in and get out, with the rehabs at least. So again, I kind of been burned on the rehabs. I do like doing the rehabs, but that part of it has kind of jaded me a little bit. I've been lucky enough where I've had some deals fall in my lap for wholesale. I bought 2 deals from a guy who called me wanting to list them at first. I was like, hey man, I can list them for you, but I could buy these. I could take them off your plate. I bought one house for $4,000, another house for $15,000. I turned around and resold them. One I just put back on the MLS after spending $1,000 cleaning it out. It sold for $20,000. Only basically my all in was about $5,500 and sold it for 20. The other one, I was dealing with a buyer that was looking for a cash deal, and it's kind of a shitty area, Cincinnati, called Evanston, kind of near Xavier University. But I got those 2 deals and made a quick, like 30 grand. I was like, man, this is way easier. Why don't I just wholesale? If I can make, 20, 30 grand. I mean, again, it was typically, that's not a typical wholesale profit in Cincinnati, but I lucked out because they fell in my lap and it just kind of, put 2 and 2 together. But it's like, man, this is the most money I made for the least amount of work, I've ever done. I was like, man, this is way better than rehabbing. I see the best of both worlds, and I like to be able to do both. I need to make it more consistent instead of just getting lucky every now and then, or maybe just doing 1 deal a year. It just needs to be more consistent for it to be meaningful or be impactful for an income. But I think that's where I want to grow. Funding wise, I got lucky. My mother-in-law funded a couple of deals for me using her self-directed IRA. And then I had another guy out in California that I can't remember how I initially met, but it worked out where he funded like 2 or 3 of my deals. Both have since gone separate ways. They've made their money. They did good with me. California guy, I think he just ran into some trouble financially with his other businesses. My mother-in-law wants to retire, so she's going to start using her funds. So she's no longer going to be interested in investing per se. So it's like, man, well, now I kind of need to find another private lender. I know how to talk to private lenders. I've sourced funds before. It can be a process if it's not someone you know directly, but that's another place where I could really learn to get access to other lenders. Totally. Prefer private money as opposed to hard money, just because hard money is a little bit more expensive. But at this point, if I can get the funds to do a deal and find a deal, I think those are the 2 weak spots, and then also the contractors. So it's all in all, it's pretty much everything except for the sell parts. I got it down easy. I can list properties myself on MLS. I know how to value properties. I know how to evaluate properties. It's just a matter of putting all other, the initial points together.
Totally. So let me ask you this question. I mean, it's actually pretty clear from just talking to you and whatnot, and but let's just shoot it straight. Why did you join this 90-day challenge? Why did you join it?
To reinvigorate that motivation, because I've been jaded. I just like, man, this is something I know I want to do, and there's an opportunity. And I have seen there's System Saturdays. I almost feel like I'm talking to a local celebrity right now. But it's like, man, I really wanted to get involved with your programs in the past. I've been following it. I just haven't pulled the trigger. I actually did go to one of those I did a seminar up in your office up in Dayton, and another seminar down in Cincinnati, which is you joined part of this, I guess, group. Um, when I was at the initial meeting, as man, I feel like I'm in a room full of newbies. I didn't want to sound cocky or anything. I was like, I don't know if this is the specific plan I want to be, but when I saw this come up with access to your systems or partnering together 50-50, I felt like it's one of the best ways to kind of work together because we have an end goal that's aligned.
Yep.
So I think that's really what it comes down to, just to reinvigorate. And this is a system or a plan that's set up where I can get access to some of the marketing systems that I really need because I'm struggling to find deals the old-fashioned way, or the way I'm used to, which is predominantly the MLS, to try and find deals. Have partnering with you guys to help fund them, and just to have a coach again. I've worked with coaches in the past, and they've all been great. I think it's an investment in my education, investment. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for those coaches I had in the past. So I do believe in coaching and mentoring. I like the fact that you guys are local. Like if I really needed to see you or see someone from your office, you're 45 minutes away from me. So I like that aspect of it, that you're close, not like you're out in California or New York or something, that I physically can touch and feel, and we can work together and finding a solution to some of my problems, and hopefully catapult this thing to where it is a more consistent business for me, because that's really the end game or the goal.
Totally. So I'm going to ask you one more question. And basically this question, I want you to have a smile on your face the entire time, because I want you to tell me what your life is going to be like at the end of this 90 days. I mean, we're going to start this on April 2nd, so we're going to end it right in the very, very first part of July. So obviously there's going to be a lot of work that gets done that we have to do to help you find deals and get you into deals and help you get private money. And oh, by the way, there will be people that join this challenge that will want to be funding deals for you. So it's not like, you're going to be totally on your own. I mean, we do this every single day, inside of our business. We just, this is the second time we've done this challenge, and every single time that we've done this, we've definitely had a lot of people, with deeper pockets that want to fund deals for people right within the group. But 90 days from now, okay, we're sitting here, we're about July 1, okay? What does it look like when we've fixed all of your entire issues? Like what does your business look like? What does your life look like? You're going to have a baby now. Like, what does it look like?
So I told you that my wife lost her job on Friday. I think she's been really stressed out. And I think it'll be when I go to my wife and say, hey, there's nothing to worry about. Like, yes, I understand the baby's due July 22nd. So this is like right before, roughly a month before, 3 weeks before the baby's coming. You have nothing to stress about. You have nothing to worry about. She's actually right now in the process of working on getting her real estate license, knowing that our end game is in real estate, whether it's investing, whether it's the retail sales. My goal is to develop both businesses. She can take over the realtor part of it, because sometimes dealing with buyers and sellers on the retail side can be a pain. I'm more focused on the investment side, the numbers. That's kind of more my niche, where I have more of a passion. But it's to go to her and say, hey, you can be a stay-at-home mom. You could be with the kid because she really wants to be a mom. So I think ultimately for me, it's making her happy and her not being stressed out, because right now she is, because she's like, what are we going to do? I lost this job. We have the baby on the way. This sucks. I can't go out and find another job. I'm 5 months pregnant. No one's going to hire me. So it's just giving her the satisfaction and the peace of mind. I think for me, that's where it's going to make me happy. And also for me, it's more of a prideful thing. It's like, I'm doing my job as the man of the house that I can provide. And my wife doesn't have to worry about and stressing. She can do what she wants to do, which is really just be a mom. But then she can still work on the side, when she wants, create her own schedule. I'll be able to be flexible and create my own schedule. I kind of already do that, but it's when you have more money in the bank, it just makes things a lot easier. So I think that's really where I want to be. That I can go to her and say, hey, we're okay. You're good. You can do what you want to do now.
Love
so
it, dude.
It's just making her happy. It's going to make me happy.
Love it, dude. That is awesome. So, all right, cool, man. Well, I really appreciate you taking 15 minutes out of your time to knock this thing out. We're going to be kicking this off July 2nd, or not July 2nd, April 2nd, and make sure that you just keep into the chat. Obviously, you've been doing that. We're going to communicate everything till then. There is going to be some to-dos that we need to do before April 2nd, because there's April 2nd comes, dude, we're going to be running. I mean, we're going to be running, and I don't want, really any catch-up to have to get done. So follow that into that group. Welcome aboard, and if you need anything in the meantime, obviously, you know how to get a hold of me. So.
Anything else you recommend I do in prepping for the challenge?
Yeah, we're going to give you some videos this week. We're going to be starting on software because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some calls like this, and I'm going to need to see your deal pipeline. I'm going to need to see your activity so that I can help tweak you and where you're going to go. The other side that I would want you to start thinking about right now is, you know, um, how do you want to find deals? Okay, and we're going to cover that on week number 1, but just start thinking about it right now of, like for example, do you want to do direct mail? Do you want to do auctions? Do you want to do, relationships? Do you want to find deals from wholesalers? Like, what do you want to do to find deals? Because we're going to take 2 of those strategies and we're going to build a playbook around it for the next 90 days. And we're going to stick to that playbook. We're going to absolutely just stick to that thing. So that is the next thing that you need to just kind of prep your mind for, is know what 2 strategies that you want to do. And we're really not going to choose 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the problem with investors, is we're only going to choose a couple, and we're going to choose a couple of them so that we can take those 2 and then we can just run with those 2. We can build a playbook around those 2 and we can just go all in with those 2. So I would be thinking about that as well.
What's recommended? I mean, my goal is not to reinvent the wheel. What are the top 2 ones that are producing deals right now?
So everybody asks me that question, and I give them an answer that they don't want to hear, because it's really, newspaper ads would work, websites would work, but it's really what your strengths are. What your strengths are, and we need to learn about what your strengths are. You need to know what your strengths are. Because direct mail works, bandit signs works, MLS works, all of this stuff works. It's just what strategies are your strengths, so that we can teach systems and go into there, and make that stuff happen. So a lot of people ask me that question, well, John, what is the top things to do? And the answer is they all work. We just need to go out there and find out what your strengths are so that we can roll with it. Like, if your strengths is not relationships, we're not going to go all in with referrals. It just doesn't make sense to do that. If you can't go out there and talk to a rug, well, I need to go out there and probably put you on things like auctions, MLS, HUD, or maybe direct mail, doing combo sellers or something like that. So it just really depends on you and your strengths, of what that's going to do. But I'll tell you right now, what really, really works well is off market, for sure. We've got to figure out a way to do things off market. But the beautiful thing is that we figured out a way a couple of years ago to take every single on market strategy and make it for an off market. So like an example would be probate. Most people, everybody can do probate deals, and they'll get homes that are in probate, then they'll send direct mail to them. Well, we figured out a way to get them off market and go direct to the probate attorneys. So we will be doing systems like that, but we just need to know what your strengths are. I think I feel very comfortable that you could talk to a rock. That is not going to be really your issue. So it's probably going to be something with relationships type thing. It's probably in like a probate or something like that. It's going to be something that has to do with relationships just by talking to you. But like, I'm not going to have you hide behind a wall. That does not make sense. You're outgoing enough to make that happen to where you don't need to hide behind a screen. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So just be thinking about things like that. We're going to kick that off, and we've got 2 calls starting on April 2nd. That's really going to help you identify your strengths, and we're going to be doing videos leading up to that, because when we start this, we just want to roll, and we're going to be building your playbook around those 2 strengths. But just be thinking about it in the back of your head, and just following that Facebook group inside there, and we'll give you instructions on there to how to pick those strengths and everything else.
Sounds good.
So
great.
All right, dude. Well, it was great chatting. If you need anything, hit me up for sure, and then we'll get this thing kicked off. And I look forward to seeing you here soon. Maybe catching a ride down to Cincy and meeting up maybe for lunch or something.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, man.
Very nice meeting you, John. You have a good one.
Yep. See ya.
Enjoy your time out there. I'm jealous.
See you, man.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye.